Welcome to the Nightcap, the show where real talk meets real life and nothing is off the table. I'm your host, Cindy Burbano, in for Carolina Sanchez, and tonight we are diving into one of the toughest questions in relationships. When do you know it's time to break up? And if we're talking about breakups, of course, we're heading over to the bar. We need a drink with our girl, Sandy Torres of Grooves of Houston. Welcome, Sandy.
Hello.
It's good to have you here. Tell me, what did you make for us tonight?
This is our new watermelon paloma. It's part of the new Grooves summer menu.
Okay, everybody loves a good paloma, especially here in Texas. This is delicious. You're gonna have to tell us how to make it later on in this show.
Yes,
so y'all at home, grab a drink, get comfy, and let's talk about knowing when to say, this ain't it, enough is enough, coming up next.
Yeah, what's up for a nightcap? Chill, you know, kick back.
Welcome back to the Nightcap. It's your girl, Cindy Burbano, and we are talking breakups, red flags, and so much more. And of course, I have a fabulous group of ladies here with me tonight. Miss Everything Talent. I can't even put a title, author, mother, advocate, and so much more. Miss Holly Cotton, welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you. And we have our queen of PR, Miss Erica Diaz. Welcome to the Nightcap.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. And Miss Noor Sohail. She is Miss Influencer herself here at the Nightcap. Welcome. And I know we were talking about breakups, and I'm sure a lot of us have had some pretty nasty ones. I need to hear these stories, Miss Holly.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me just say, I'm usually friends with all of my exes. The only really two big breakups that I had were like my most serious relationships. So that was like my boyfriend in high school and then my ex-husband. Like that was the longest breakup ever. We literally broke up for like 7 years.
What?
Because
How does that happen?
Because you have kids, so we break up, get back together, break up, get back together, break up, you know, send me a love song, get back together, you know, all of this. So it was just like the longest breakup ever. So finally, whenever we finally did, I was like, okay, this is it. I have to choose my peace. I have to choose me. And then, you know, and then here we go.
Yeah.
The rest is history now.
Well, now you're monetizing. We got this book. What do you have here? Tell us about
this
F
is one of my newest books. This is my F them affirmation book. Say it, mean it, and move on.
Okay.
Yes,
F them, say it, mean it, and move on.
Because the problem is that sometimes we don't want to say it. We feel bad. I'm like, girl, say it. F them. F them for what they did. F them for not seeing my worth. Mean it.
Right.
Because if you don't mean it, then they can always come back. But then, of course, my self-help side is, and then now let's move on. Let's find some self-help stuff to move on. But yeah, that's what I had to do myself. And so that's why I just go and I like to talk about it because, hey, you know, I learned this. I walked this. Once you move on and you're on your growth journey, oh, it's a whole nother world on this side.
Well, Erica, I'm sure you've had your share of breakups. I think all of us had, right? It's not some good, not so good. What's that bad one that you just can't?
You know, I really say bad is subjective. It's all about how you look at it. So for me, something that kind of really did hit home was when I actually broke my ankle and I was dating a guy. He had been coming all the way from San Francisco to Houston to help me during my downtime.
Wow.
I thought this was about to be my happily ever after. We were inseparable until we weren't. And you know,
y'all were together for how long?
It was going on like 6.5 months.
Okay, it was
yeah,
getting
but
serious.
he knew, you know, quality, so he knew what he had to do to, you know, make things happen. And less than 24 hours of me meeting him, he was in Houston after, you know, him living all the way in San Francisco.
Yes,
but when we stopped talking, unfortunately, he just like did this disappearing act. It was
the ghosting.
It was so weird, and I was like, what is going on? And I think it was because I was asking more questions. He wanted me to move to San Francisco, and you know, I was discovering some other things that I asked him about, and just one day he you know,
He
decided
disappeared.
to
What did he
disappear.
But what did he stop texting? He stopped calling? Like, what happened?
Yeah, he stopped communicating. He stopped communicating, and so did I, because who is not going to chase is me. So, you know, if a man can do that from going from just knight in shining armor to that, then he was not supposed to be my happily ever after.
But that's a huge red flag.
know?
I think the guys that are overly love or like love bomb, and then all of a sudden start like acting completely different, I think that's also one of the signs when you know, like, this is a little toxic. This isn't it. Right?
Yeah.
What about you, Miss Noor?
I think mine was my last relationship. We were doing great, so close. He had the ring, parents were involved. And out of nowhere, he was like, hey, I need to talk to you about something. I got an email. I have a 10-year-old. I've never met. Yeah, so.
He had a child that he didn't know?
He didn't know about, right.
Oh, that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, so.
So what happened?
It was one of those things where I was just like, you have a priority to take care of. And he was just kind of, didn't really know either if he wanted to move on with us, so. But,
oh my goodness. All right. Well, we need to talk more about these breakups, especially those red flags, those signs. When is it time to say enough is enough? It ain't it. We need to go. That's coming up next. Welcome back to the Nightcap. I'm here with my girl, Holly Cotton, Erica Diaz, and Noor. You just dropped a bombshell. We are talking breakups, and you mentioned that your ex all of a sudden has this 10-year-old child, a whole child. What happened? Okay, we need to hear this again, and you need to elaborate, and we need a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was taken back at first. I was like, is this a joke? You know, I mean, if you didn't want to talk or if there's any other excuse, I feel like that would be better than that. But no, he started sending me pictures. Kid looked just like him. But it was just like one of those things, like, how do you trust someone, right? Or like, why did it take you so long? Or where was the mom? Like,
This whole time? Because
she have
you
to
guys
email?
were together for how long?
2.5 years.
For 2.5 years.
Right.
Nobody knows about this child. You're about to get married.
Right.
I mean, the whole families are involved. What did your parents
And my
say?
parents are really traditional, so they're like, oh, she's finally getting married. You know? Never told my parents. Yeah, so they're gonna find out now.
Oh my goodness! Welcome to the Nightcap.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mom and Dad.
They shouldn't be up at 11:30 at night anyway. Girl, you're safe. You're safe. Secret safe.
Yeah, I don't think they would mind per se, just because this was a while, 10 years from our relationship. He's a different man, but it's one of those things where I was judging too, like, okay, like, I understand, you know, you worked all around the world. He played basketball before, and, you know, he had
His
that
share
stereotype,
of,
you know.
of women or whatever. But do you think now, looking back, there were some red flags, things that you should have noticed? I mean, like, okay, well, he's not picking up the phone at this time, or he walks out of the room to talk on the phone, because, you know, they do that.
Not necessarily. And I think I was in denial for a long time because it was so perfect per se.
Yeah.
And then, this bomb was just dropped on me, and I was like, okay, I need a vacation now.
Absolutely, or a drink.
Right. Oh yeah.
I think that
beautiful
one
drink.
of the salud. I think that one of the problems that we have as women is that we tend to stay too long. I don't know about you ladies, but I look back at relationships where I'm going, I was there 2 years too long. I should have walked away, you know, in the first few months. Why don't we walk away? Why do you think we're staying?
It's the loyalty. Women are bred to be loyal, right? Like, I'm from a small town in Louisiana, and that was how, I mean, everyone, that's what you did. You were like finding your life partner, and people they were getting married. I have so many people that married their high school sweethearts that's still married, you know, 40 years later.
Yeah.
20 years later, because, you know, I just graduated a few years ago. But I think it's the loyalty of it, because we take the loyalty, the commitment, which all the things that make us great corporate America workers, but terrible in relationships.
Yeah, what do you think, Erica?
It could be also learned behavior, you know, growing up, especially, I can speak for me being an African-American woman, seeing certain things that my mom did in her relationships. And I knew that if I didn't want to kind of go down this path, I was going to have to unlearn certain things in order to prepare me for the right relationship and to, you know, be a wife and different things. So it could be, you know, numerous things, but I know for me growing up, just seeing how relationships happened in my family, it was learned behavior.
It was, and then you have to break that cycle.
You have to break that cycle.
You have to love yourself more, have that self-esteem, and say, I deserve better. I don't want to be like my mom or like my grandma or stay in these relationships, you know. I think for a lot of us, it's important also to speak up and let other women know. So coming up next, we are going to talk about advice. What you guys have learned, what you ladies want to tell other people out there that might be going through a breakup. That's next.
You hear a lot from me, and now I want to hear from you. The Nightcap has a new voicemail box, so lay it on me, baby, and don't you hold back. Do you have relationship questions or topics we should discuss? Maybe some sexy secrets to share? I want to hear it all. So, who are you going to call? Me.
These are signs that it's time to walk away from someone, even if you still love them. Number one, they never want to have the difficult conversations. They give you the silent treatment, or they walk away and they just watch as you fight for the relationship alone. Number two, they treat you like an option and they're distant, but they expect you to prioritize them all the time, and they have no problem prioritizing everyone else over the relationship. Three, they stop trying and being there for you as soon as they had you, and every time you give them another chance, they end up hurting you or giving you an empty promise. Four, it's clear that they no longer envision the future that they once promised you, and for a long time, the bad days outnumber the good days. And five, they're never accountable and they always shift the blame on you. You feel so emotionally drained in the relationship because it's always your fault, even when you do absolutely nothing wrong at all.
Wow, welcome back to the Nightcap. Ladies, do we agree with this video?
They were so generic though. Like, I feel like he read that off of ChatGPT or something. Like those were like so generic that you hear all of the time. Like, I just think that we as a expert panel right here could give some real advice on the things, because those were just so umbrella.
Well, let's hear it.
I think like one of the things, communication is great. I'm huge. I always talk about communication, but one of the things that I think is when you know it's time to go is whenever there's a dread about anything. So if it's a dread of me talking to you, if it's a dread of me knowing that if we go to this place we're going to get in a fight, if it's a dread of now if I'm going to wear this it's going to cause an argument. So I say when there's a dread about something, I know you're costing me my peace, it's time for you to go. You got to kick rocks.
Yeah, even if it was, you know, you've been in a relationship for 10 years, 15 years, you know, because sometimes it gets to that point where I can't even stand the person anymore. I'm not, one of the things that I think that has happened to me, I don't recognize myself anymore. Like, I have become a different person. I wasn't that person that was always mad, or I wasn't that person that is yelling. I used to be a happy person. Like, what happened is because that person's energy was bringing me down. What do you think, Erica?
Honestly, I really feel like it's when you ask those tough questions and they're not forthcoming with the information. I am a big person for just transparency and honesty, and if I feel like you lying, I do not want to be around you. I don't thrive in uncertainty or in unstable environments or people who lie, so you gotta go.
Especially about finances, because that tends to happen a lot in relationships. They start hiding things, money that they owe or movements that they're making, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, look, if I'm gonna be in this relationship, we need to be, like you said, transparent.
Once the trust is gone, that's it. Like, it's hard to rebuild trust.
Somebody they can't trust.
Like, absolutely. No, and then have a family, like a whole family, like, what am I doing? I'm not wasting my time. What about you, Noor?
I would say, losing your identity. If I see myself not laughing, like simple things like that, I'm really witty. I love to joke around. So if you're not giving me that much, at least bare minimum, then it's time for us to move forward.
What do you have to say to those people out there that are maybe going through a breakup and they're finding it really hard to move on? Any advice?
I would say trust your discernment, block out the noise, because usually I feel like as women, we really do know the right thing. Sometimes you want to say it out loud to a friend or to somebody, but I'm really good at knowing when it is time for me to go, because like I said, I don't thrive in situations that aren't 100. So trust yourself, know your discernment, and just continue, walking in your
And you know what, sometimes I think also that we stay in relationships, let's say that we really want to be there, and then somebody breaks up with you, because that also happens. Now, I don't understand, and now all of a sudden you're trying to grab on to this person that's trying to walk away. Recognize when it's over, even if you feel like you still love them, if you want to be there. That's not good for you. They don't want you, then you deserve better, right?
Definitely.
What do you have to say, Miss Holly, out there for those ladies
So,
listening
well,
to you?
you
those
know,
little girls?
as a proponent of solo life,
Yes.
I'm like, baby, we're going to love ourselves over here. I promise you that. And I think that that's the problem. People feel that their only identity is being someone's spouse, being someone's wife, being in a relationship. The only way that I have value is if someone else values me. So I think that the important thing, which I try to constantly push, is love yourself, know your value. I am totally fine being by myself, and if someone comes there, they're going to gravitate towards my energy, but if not, I love myself enough to choose me over you.
Girls, cheers
Yes,
for
cheers to
that.
that.
And in the meantime, we're gonna head over to the bar. We're gonna learn how to make these palomas, especially if you're going through a breakup. You're gonna need this.
You hear a lot from me, and now I want to hear from you. The Nightcap has a new voicemail box, so lay it on me, baby, and don't you hold back. Do you have relationship questions or topics we should discuss? Maybe some sexy secrets to share? I want to hear it all. So, who are you gonna call? Me.
Welcome back to the Nightcap. It's your girl Cindy Burbano, and I'm here with the owner of Grooves of Houston, Miss Felicia, and our fabulous bartender, Sandy. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are gonna learn how to make this wonderful paloma. It's the watermelon paloma. So, in order to do this, we're gonna what? Okay, ladies, first off, you need to tell us what is in this paloma, because clearly it's not a mocktail.
It's not a mocktail. It does have Teremana Blanco in it. We have watermelon juice, lime juice, and some grapefruit soda. So it's very refreshing for the summer.
Okay, well, let's start making that. And Miss Felicia, tell us about Grooves of Houston. Where are y'all located? Where can we go? What can we see?
Yeah, we're downtown, midtown. We're on the cusp of 3rd Ward, all of that. So right at 45 and 59. We are the old Drexler's building. We've been there ourselves for 14 years.
That's amazing.
So we've been running for 14 years now. We have our Friday night happy hour and late night, and then Saturdays and Sundays we do brunch. Other than that, we rent the venue out for different events.
Well, that's what we love. Is there a little social media page we can check out?
Absolutely, Houston Grooves. Everything is Houston Grooves. So it's social media on Instagram, on Facebook. We're Houston Grooves all the way around. And I'm Miss Grooves.
Miss Grooves, absolutely, on social media.
Yes.
And we were talking about breakups, and I know that you told me you've seen your share of nasty breakups.
Yes.
Can we get a little story?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, they're never pleasant. They're never fun, and they're always hurtful. But I think that on the when to leave part, that's the part that really caught my ear, because I'm a longevity person. I stay.
Yeah.
And so just recently in the past, couple of years, I said, cut it off when you see the red flags. 1, 2, and 3, I'm done. Once we get to the 3rd red flag, it's time to move on.
So cheating is a red flag.
Or they get pretty good about that. You don't even know. It's more about the treatment. Yeah, obviously cheating is a big red flag, but the treatment. If I feel like I'm not being treated well, I'm not a priority, I'd rather just do it myself.
Absolutely. Like Miss Holly said, we gotta love each other. We gotta appreciate and respect each other. Sandy, tell us about those crazy stories you're here at the bar, because you know that people go over there, start crying, and give me another drink, and
We
give me another
definitely
paloma.
do see a lot of people. I mean, we see people break up at the bar as well.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
And
She's paying the tab. You're like, who's gonna pay?
exactly. Definitely see couples get mad at each other and not leave the way that they came in.
Ooh, not good. But at least they could be happy with this great drink. What did we have here real quick? You added the watermelon, a little, what is that, tahini?
Yes, so you have chamoy and tahini on the rim. We have watermelon juice, the grapefruit soda, lime juice, and white tequila.
And where can we find you on social media?
My social media is T Sandy with 2 Y's.
Oh, there you go, ladies. I know that they want some refills. Thank you all for being with us tonight. And if you're going through a breakup, make sure you check out Grooves of Houston, because at least y'all are going to have a good time over there, okay?
Find somebody new.
Yeah, find somebody new. That's right. Exactly. See y'all next time.
Hey, it's your girl Carolina Sanchez, and the Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in, because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.